It's day 5, and Lloyd started the day leaving the checkpoint at Bellingham and heading north through to Burness, and then across the Cheviots down to the finish line at Kirk Yetholm, where he arrived just before 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, the 2024 Spine race is over, and you not only made it to the finish line, you also shaved 4 hours off your previous time. How was the race, Lloyd?
Pretty tough again. I was going quite a lot quicker than the previous year. At one point I thought I might be 12 to 15 hours ahead, but the conditions, as they always do in the Spine, they can change in an instant, and the second half of the race was a hell of a lot more tough going.
So what was the toughest part of the whole 268 miles for you?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, it was the section having left Langdon Beck, so that's checkpoint 3, heading towards Dufton. Just after Birkdale, I got caught in a blizzard where a huge amount of snow came down, and the conditions were horrendous, and I was having to break the trail with very little visibility at night. It was really tough.
Now, this might be a silly question, but was there a highlight to the race? Was there a period or a point in the race where you thought, actually, this is great, I'm really enjoying this?
The bits, I think, like the example I gave about the snowstorm at the time, I wouldn't call that a highlight at all. But now looking back on it, I think it was a highlight. It's a huge sense of achievement to have got through that section. I was by myself, about a foot of snow at times, and it wasn't a highlight at the time, but looking back on it, it was very different, and that's what you come for.
So is there anything that you would have done differently in this race if you could do it again?
I don't think so, no. I mean, I did everything I could at the time to the best of my ability, and as always with me, I left it out all on the course. I don't think, save for a few little things here or there, I don't think there's much I could have changed.
Compared to last year, where obviously you suffered severe sleep deprivation and you were hallucinating, especially in the Cheviots. I think, was there plastic bags growing out of the ground last year, and you were seeing wooden mallards? What about this year? Did you have similar experience?
The sleep deprivation was just as severe, but didn't experience it in the same way, which was a bit bizarre really. This time it was just sheer tiredness. So I actually fell asleep numerous times while still on my feet, and then I'd suddenly just wake up, having staggered a few steps sort of towards the edge of the path. But it just happened time and time again, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. So it'd be boom, and I'd be gone for a few seconds, then I'd suddenly jolt up, and then it'd be gone again, and then again and again. And no amount of distraction or anything. It got to that stage where there was nothing I could do to change it. And it was really quite difficult to cope with.
I know something that was identical to last year was between Hut 2 and the finish line. You did the same thing as 2023, thought somebody was chasing after you, and absolutely caned it to the finish line. I mean, I was watching on the tracking app, and your speed went from sort of 3.5 kilometers an hour to like 6.9. So I thought, my God, you're running to the finish line again.
I don't know what it is. It's not just the spine race. I've done it on others as well, haven't I?
Yeah.
I seem to get agitated about headlights behind me for some reason. So yeah, I put on the afterburners. In my sleep deprived state, there's something about the dark and headlights chasing me that seemingly I don't seem to like.
Well, and there was me thinking, it was just going to be an early morning wake up for me about 5 a.m. and in the end you managed to come in just before 3. So yeah, thanks for getting me up in the middle of the night.
No, it's a pleasure. And then coming back to the cottage, and a good example of the sleep deprivation was when I had a shower at the cottage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a nice marble wall in the shower with the sort of marble kind of stains, if you like, that you get that bring out the colour. I was trying to convince you that it was some posh, like New York or London style artwork that actually had lots of people's names written in lots of different sort of italics and whatnot. And I was pointing out to you, saying what was being written, and I took a photograph of it upon departure. It was just a marble wall, wasn't it?
I certainly was not going to argue with you. Your eyes were glazed over and you were jabbering on about words on the wall, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to argue with you on this, because you were like a man possessed talking about these words written on the wall.
These sort of scribbles, and I was going, look, it says blah blah blah's name there. Can't you see it? No. just no.
I think I'm well enough experienced runner's wife to understand when just not to argue with you when you're in a state like that. So it's been a good year, a good race again. Are you pleased with the result?
Yeah, I was faster. I mean, I think, as I say, I would have been a lot faster still. At one point, I think I was looking like it was going to be 10 to 15 hours up. Ended up being about 4, but that's just because of the conditions. They were the way they were. I finished in a faster time. I think I executed it in a better way as well. My pace was a lot more even. So yeah, it was a good race. I mixed a bit more with a few of the competitors this year. It was nice to actually, like on the last day, I had a really nice chat with Ian Keith on the way to Burness. And then after Burness, I met up with some competitors in the Challenger North, and again had a good chat. And in some ways, that also helped to keep the sleep deprivation at bay.
So how have the last 7 days been with your recovery?
Pretty much the usual. So some horrendous night sweats, and whenever I describe it to like friends and colleagues, they think, oh, it's just like having a sweaty night. No, night sweats are something completely different. They're horrendous. And you'd think I'd sleep like a baby, but actually my sleep has been really quite difficult, partly because of all the aches and pains. But I think little and often seems to be the order of the day. But I don't know whether we'll come on to injuries next, but some of the injuries have made it a little bit difficult to try and recover.
So go on then, tell me about your injuries. What have you done to yourself?
Again, most of which haven't. I've aren't any different from what I've had from previous edition of the spine. I've only managed to lose the sensation of the tips of 2 fingers this time as opposed to most of them, so I suppose that's an improvement. I've had so many slips, trips and falls this time because of the amount of ice, and even ice grips only got you so far. So most of my leg was, at one point when I saw the doctor at the end, there was even a concern it could have been fractured because the whole of the lower of my left leg has just been swollen. But actually it's just the culmination of many impact injuries, which is slowly going down. One of my toes basically has become one big blister which has gone down, so that looks pretty manky, I think.
We won't put you off your dinner and show you that though, folks.
Lots of bruising on the sides near my hips where again impact injuries. I've had a hacking cough, which I think with hindsight I've actually had some sort of infection or chest infection, because I was really quite poorly for the first 2 or 3 days after finishing with that hacking cough. But I put the hacking cough just down to being outside so much. Lots of the usual sort of tongue feels like it's being scraped with sandpaper, which makes eating and drinking quite difficult. Same with the lips. And without putting too fine a point on it, some chafing issues in certain parts of my body.
Ooh, might that be on your rear?
Might be.
Well, we certainly won't get into that. Well, that's a wrap for the Spine Race 2024. Thanks to everyone for your support and kind words to Lloyd during the race. And we hoped you enjoyed watching these videos. We'll see you all again soon for more adventure runs and races. As always, thanks for watching, guys.